give 100%, and get replaced by those who never deserved your loyalty or the blood you spilled to keep them safe and fed tonight. The moment you fall is the moment you finally see the sharp teeth of the parasites you have been feeding with your own life every day. I stopped being a shield for cowards and started being a nightmare for those who thought my kindness was a sign of my eternal weakness. If you are tired of being the ladder for people who only want to climb over you, stay until the end to reclaim your throne and power now. The roar of a wounded king is not a plea for help. It is a declaration that the era of your exploitation has officially ended right now. Parasites do not love the host. They only love the ease of the meal. And it is time for you to stop being the feast for their greed today. Before we dive into this journey of awakening, I want you to feel every word, because your soul is crying out for this brutal truth now. Tell me in the comments which city or country you are watching from, so I can know how far this roar of freedom is reaching this evening. The sun was high when I felt the first sharp snap in my right leg, a burning reminder that even the strongest steel can bend under a heavy load that was never meant to be carried alone by a single soul in this world. I looked at the pack of hyenas I had fed for years, expecting a hand of support, but all I saw were eyes calculating how much meat I still had left on my bones before they moved to the next victim of their hunger. The first habit of the tiger that punishes the aggressor is the cold observation of the truth, where you finally stop making excuses for those who are clearly waiting for your downfall to begin their feast. The silence that followed my fall was louder than any roar I had ever released, revealing the hollow nature of the loyalty I thought I had bought with my own sweat and the blood of my daily hunts for their comfort. The leader of the pack stepped forward not to check my wound or offer comfort, but to sniff the air and see if I was still capable of dragging the next kill to his feet for his own selfish gain and satisfaction. The second habit is the withdrawal of the provider's gift. For the greatest punishment you can give a parasite is the hunger that follows. The moment you decide to stop carrying their weight on your back. I felt a cold shiver crawling up my spine, a realization that my value was tied to my utility, and once the tool is broken, the master looks for a new one. Without a single second of true hesitation or any regret, the void in my chest, that old familiar ache of wanting to be seen for who I am, suddenly turned into a frozen lake of pure and crystalline understanding about the nature of those I called my brothers and friends. I had spent years swallowing my pride and my own hunger, just to keep the peace, thinking that my silence was a virtue instead of a slow suicide of my soul, under the weight of their constant and bottomless greed. The third habit is the strategic silence that disarms the manipulator, because when you stop explaining your pain to those who caused it, you strip them of the power they use to control your mind and spirit. Every time I ignored my own pain to serve their endless hunger, I was digging a grave for my own dignity, hoping that they would eventually throw flowers inside of it as a sign of their true gratitude and love. But parasites do not bring flowers to the graves of their hosts. They simply move on to the next body that is willing to bleed for their comfort and ease, while they watch from the safe distance of their ego. As the hyenas began to whisper about who would replace me, I realized that I was never a part of their circle. I was just the engine that kept it moving while they enjoyed the fruits of my hard and lonely labor. The pressure in my throat was unbearable, a scream for justice that had been suppressed for a decade, waiting for the right moment to tear through the lies and expose the cowards for what they truly are inside. I watched them bring a younger tiger to the edge of the camp, promising him the same lies of family and protection that had kept me a slave for so long under the guise of being a respected and strong leader. The fourth habit is mirroring the predator's authority, a sudden shift in posture where you stop looking like a wounded servant and start looking like the threat that you actually are to their weak and hollow empire. Seeing my younger self in those naive eyes was the final spark I needed to burn down the entire theater of illusions I had helped to build with my blood and the years of my youth wasted on their small lives. I stood up, ignoring the fire screaming in my leg, and for the first time in years, I did not look at them with the eyes of a servant, but with the eyes of a king who finally understood the source of power. The leader tried to growl a pathetic attempt to remind me of my place, but he forgot that a wounded tiger is far more dangerous than a well-fed one ever is. When the truth finally comes to light in the dark, I didn't need to fight them with claws. I fought them with the truth of my absence, showing them that without my strength, they were nothing but dust and bones scattered in the wind of the silent desert air. The fifth habit is the absolute departure without a single glance back. For the ultimate punishment for an aggressor is to become completely irrelevant to the one they once thought they could manipulate forever. The fear in their eyes was the most delicious meal I had ever tasted, a surge of dopamine that finally filled the hollow space that had haunted me for life. While I served their unworthy and selfish causes, I turned my back on the vultures and the thieves, walking toward the high mountains, where the air is thin, but the spirit can finally breathe without masks or the weight of their fake and heavy expectations. The journey was long, and the path was steep, but every step away from that toxic den felt like a heavy chain being shattered by the hammer of my will as I reclaimed my own life from their greedy hands today. I found a hidden valley where the water is pure and the grass is untouched, a place where nature does not ask for a price, just to let you exist in peace and dignity under the warm sun and the cold stars. It was there that I met others who had also walked through the fire of betrayal, souls who did not need me to carry their weight too. Offer me their respect and a place at their table of true equals and kings. We do not live in a pack of users anymore. We live in a circle of equals, where my strength is celebrated, and my presence is more than enough to belong here without proving my worth every single day again. I realized that I was never broken or wrong for giving too much. I was simply planting my seeds in a desert that was never meant to bloom for any man, regardless of the effort or the water given to it. Now I wake up every morning with a light heart and a steady hand, knowing that my value is inherent and does not depend on the meat I bring to the table for those who would never do the same for me, ever. The hyenas eventually turned on each other, as all parasites do when the host is gone, proving that their empire was built on a foundation of sand and ego that could never stand the test of time or truth. If you are listening to my voice right now, and you feel that heavy pressure in your chest, know that it is not a burden. It is your soul trying to wake up from the nightmare of being used by others' lives. You are not born to be a ladder for others to climb while you stay in the mud. You are born to reach the peak of your own mountain, with your head held high, and your heart full of true and noble purpose. Stop feeding the mouths that only open to criticize your efforts, and start nourishing the parts of yourself that you have neglected for far too long today, as you reclaim your own stolen and precious energy. The moment you stop being useful to those who exploit you is the moment you will finally find out who actually loves you for the person you truly are inside, rather than what you can do for them every day. Do not be afraid of the silence that follows your departure from a toxic place, because that silence is the sound of your life finally becoming your own again as you find your true inner peace and strength. I want you to take a deep breath and feel the power that still resides in your bones, waiting for your permission to reclaim the throne you abandoned long ago in search of their cheap and fake approval. You are a masterpiece of resilience and strength, and it is time for you to stop acting like a servant in a kingdom that you were literally destined to lead since the moment of your very first breath here. The world will try to convince you that you are selfish for choosing your own peace, but remember that a dry well can never provide water to a thirsty traveler, no matter how much they beg for it in the end. Fill your own cup first, and then you can choose who deserves to sit at your table and share the abundance that you have worked so far to create for yourself through the years of your silent struggle. I am here to tell you that the best version of your life starts the second you decide that you are no longer available for any kind of disrespect or manipulation from anyone in your inner circle of life. If this story touched a nerve in your heart, it is because you are ready to stop being the tiger in a cage and start being the legend of your own wild forest, where you set the rules of respect and honor. Please subscribe to this channel and join our community of warriors, because we are building a place where the strong support the strong without any hidden traps or agendas for their personal gain today. I want to read your story in the comments below. Tell me what fardel you are dropping today, so we can celebrate your first step toward true freedom and power. As you walk away from the darkness of use, remember that you are the architect of your own destiny, and the tools you need are already in your hands, waiting for you to use them with courage and grace in the face of all your life challenges now. The roar of the tiger is not just a sound of war, it is a sound of boundaries, a declaration that your space is sacred and only the worthy shall enter it now under your own careful and wise observation. Thank you for walking this path with me today, and I hope you find the strength to leave behind everything that does not reflect the greatness of your own soul as you move toward the light of truth today. May your journey be filled with the light of truth and the warmth of genuine connections. For that is where the real gold of life is hidden from the common eye that only seeks for quick and easy profit. Be the tiger, be the king, and never let anyone convince you that your roar is too loud for a world that is desperately waiting for someone to finally speak up and lead with true heart and brave soul. You are enough. You have always been enough. And the only person you need to prove anything to is the reflection staring back at you in the mirror every morning as you face the world with honor. Goodbye for now, but I will see you in the next chapter of our where we will continue to strip away the lies until only the pure diamond remains for all to see in its brilliant and holy glory. Stay strong, stay focused, and never forget that your worth is not a negotiation. It is an absolute reality that the entire universe is forced to respect forever as you claim your own rightful place now.